Hi, this is Cruz McCulloch from Baker Hunt. I'm going to do a little painting demo in watercolor today. And this lesson is going to be called charging color, which is a wet into wet technique. You'll be putting wetting the paper first with clear water, and then flowing color into the charged area. Okay, so what we've got is a watercolor I'm working on, which is roses and lily. And you'll see in the lesson, this is the actual painting we'll be working on, or I'm working on. So, light pencil on the paper, very light, 2H, easily erasable when you're done. So this is what it looks like. And happy painting. Greetings everyone, this is Cruz McCulloch. This video is brought to you by the Baker Hunt Art and Cultural Center with support from the Charles H. Dater Foundation. Today we're going to talk about charging color in watercolor. What I have here is an older painting which you can see has got some wet areas. I can see they're wet. You probably can't. So we're going to put clear water on your paper. This is 140-pound arches. As you can see, it's not taped down. This is just a test. Clear water, all right? So charging paint, basically a wet into wet technique. You put your watercolor directly onto the paper and let it flow. Obviously you can change direction. Watch the water flow. And you can see how it moves down the page. You can see the gloss of the water on the paper in the video, I hope. Paper's pretty saturated. Okay. That's a test. Now we're going to put this into practice on an actual painting. The sketch is done on tracing vellum, and it's, you can see, a light pencil sketch, 2H, something like that. I do all my correcting and composition first on the tracing vellum, and if I'm really wanting to be careful, I'll transfer it to the watercolor paper with graphite transfer paper. But sometimes I just draw directly on the watercolor. So let's see, I've got you can see some pencil marks. I've just sketched it, outlined it on the tracing paper, right? So the actual painting, already in progress, looks like this. Okay. Let's see if we can get a little close up here. So when you're charging color into an actual painting that you want to exhibit or sell, it takes a little more care than I just showed you. You can see the pencil lines, light pencil lines of the rose. Now the idea on a flower is to create the illusion of the petal turning, curving around. You want some 3D effect here. So I'm using rose madder. alizarin crimson, and for the deeper areas down here, a little Winsor blue mixed in with the Winsor red. Sometimes I'll just put the light shades down first. I'll put the light shades down first and then deepen them with wash after wash like a glaze layer. So let's try it out here. I've got my palette on a china plate, and I've got the deeper colors in the shadow of the petal above it. Now I'm going to wet the whole petal. I'll keep a little white on the edge for a highlight. All that paper is nice and wet. You can see the gradations from darkest to lightest. Keep your paper wet wherever you're working. And I'm going to touch a little bit of blue in that. It's a little bit of Winsor blue, just for some shadows. Now before I overwork it, I'm going to let it dry. And that is what I'm going to do on one area, and then once that's drying and I'm happy with it, I can move to another area. So I'm going to go over here with the same technique. Wet the paper first. Just clear water. This has already got a wash down on it. You can see that's drying or dried. I work light to dark, especially on something like a flower. And you can see how it's progressing from the stem out toward the light. Try to keep your setup consistent every day with the light source in the same angle so that you're not trying to recreate that same effect every day. Now I'm letting that dry. I think you can maybe see that. And then I'm going to move this camera closer so you can see another angle. As I get deeper into the center of the rose, in here, it's going to get darker and darker, and then my light source is coming in from that side that I'm pointing at. And then over here is going to be the depth of color. Okay, that's it for now. I'm going to, next week, I think we'll get into some more interesting techniques that'll show you more about what I'm doing with this floral. Thanks.